Everyone. Well, welcome to day 5 of the 5-day challenge for living an effortless life. It's really been a great week. I'm amazed there's about 500 of you in the past week that have been part of the Facebook group and have really been feeling powerful in the community. There's a certain sense of coming together, that there's a lot of power in this community, people all over the world gathering together. So thank you for signing up for the Facebook page and for your comments and just some very moving things that people have shared. So if you haven't read some of the comments, please do that. One that left me in tears was a woman who was a farmer with a broken leg, and she took my advice about "and I love that" or "and I'm blessed" after her issues with not being able to do her farming and things that he was up against. And all of a sudden, all kinds of things opened up for her in terms of help and support and finances. So, so many stories like that have been really amazing. Tonight we'll do the master class. Today we're going to be talking about the 4 steps to living an effortless life. But first, let's take a moment to have a morning meditation, just a short meditation to feel the connection. So let's let our eyes gently go closed. And just notice your breath. Let's take a deep breath together. Imagining as we release the breath and let go of anything we brought to this moment. Imagining all the people around the world that are on this call that are taking a deep breath. And we honor the air, the element of air, and the spirit of air, because it connects us with our breath. It also connects us to the web of life. We have a symbiotic relationship with trees. And just notice that as we breathe in, we're being offered a gift from the trees, from the spirit of the earth, feeling our rootedness as we begin this day or end it, depending on where you are watching this. And just honoring the spirit of the earth for all the abundance we have and how we all are connected by the earth and the bounty of the earth. And then just honoring the sun that shines on us, that provides us with the energy, and the plants with the energy to grow and do photosynthesis and all the amazing things we take for granted for the sun. It's gifts, and there are many gifts. And we thank the water, the spirit of water, the fluidity that gives us. I love water because of its reflective qualities, the ability to actually see our own face in the water, in the mirror of the water. Imagine that we're all reflected in the water right now, this huge group of us around the world, in this little morning meditation, connected, alive, and present. And just taking one more deep breath to settle in. You can't be struggling in overwhelm when you're present. So, let's begin this morning's communication. I want to share with you the 4 key steps that have evolved over 40 years in my own life, and the model, one of the models that I've created and work from. And the first one is about what I call the dominant identity narrative, that is primarily, it's based in the past, but primarily based in the early years of our past. And it forms the habitual behavior and structures that we return to and we're fed on a regular basis unless we bring ourselves to the present and allow ourselves to create new responses. We're locked into this identity. The problem is that we don't ever think about that. We think from the identity. We think we are the identity, actually. And when we get present, we realize that we have an identity, just like I have a hand, but I'm not that identity. And so we begin to recognize that we're a witness to this thing called I, me, my. And so when we get loose from it enough and see that we have an identity, we aren't that, well, it leaves the question, well then, who are we? And who we are is the author of our life. And when we get free from and deconstruct the old patterns of our life and begin to actually be able to just be with them as they are, we realize that we can rewrite the story of our life. I shared yesterday a little bit about my life and some of the challenges that I've had. And what I had to do was go back and rewrite the way I met those challenges. So the issues of early childhood abuse and things that happened with me, when I went back, I rewrote that as a hero's journey. And basically went, wow, I survived all these things. I'm not a victim of them. I may have been victimized, but I'm not a victim. And so that's the first place, is to recognize that we have a story, but we aren't the story. Once we recognize that, we can move to the second place of reauthoring the story, as I said, to rewrite it as a hero or a heroine's journey. And so we write a new script, and then we begin to alter our conversations and break down the debilitating conversations and habitual behavior that keeps us stuck in these patterns, which really are at the heart of the struggle and the overwhelm that we feel. And as we reauthor, we begin to step into a new way of being in the world. We have access to it. Now, what happens is you begin to recognize that, oh, I also have a body, and that has sensation and emotion. And so the next step, the third step, is really to recognize that we are embodied, and that our body has a vast intelligence, a cellular memory, ancestral memory from when we were stardust into coming up out of the sea and onto the land to becoming human. And that evolutionary process is in every cell of the trillions of cells in our body. And so we have to begin to look at the patterns that are embedded, and we see that the old story had patterns, and to really anchor our new story, we have to create new movement, new habitual ways of being to recognize the old way. And we might want to stand up straighter, or straighten our shoulders, or just the way we walk, or the way we don't breathe when we meet people. There's all these different aspects, and that's the third aspect. And the fourth aspect is really important, and it's often one that's neglected, and that's the power of community. Because who we're being in the world is what comes out of our mouth and our actions, and that trains the people around us, our community, to relate to us in a particular way. And once we see who we are as not our story, and we get more in touch with our essential self, and we embody ourselves, we still have to connect with the community and discover, how does the community see me? And then how can I impact the community to change them to the new reauthored story? And to do that, I need to be authentic about my own inauthenticities. Those places where I've hidden myself or tried to adapt, or all the patterns to be liked, to be loved, to be honored, to be appreciated, to be, admired. All of those things that are the faces we put on to meet the faces that we meet. So those are the 4 steps. I'll be going over them a lot more this evening, and I'll be revealing the 5th step, which is born in allowing and embracing whatever arises. And tonight I'm going to be talking about, in Saturday morning, if you're in the Saturday morning master class, about what I call the spiral of interbeing. So don't miss that talk tonight. It's really, I think, an important talk. Again, I want to remind you several things: to like and follow our Facebook page, and certainly to join our expanding, huge Effortless Life Facebook group. I'm amazed at how fast it has grown. To sign up for the masterclass tonight. If you're on our list, just click the purple button. If you're new to us, click the link below. You'll also receive our newsletter and new moon events every month. We have a new moon event, and one of the things I recommend is that you get a partner to work with. I'm going to actually do an experiment, two experiments. One is what I'm going to do as a closing meditation. The other is that we're going to do this for another week and do a morning meditation at 9 o'clock. So if you like that idea, let us know. And we'll continue to do these daily sessions. There's a term called Ubuntu, which is an African term, and it means awakening together. It also means I am what I am because of who we are together. I am who I am because of who we are together. And I want to just try something. This is kind of a risk. I struggle with the relationship to technology, and in the commitment to effortless, I'm trying to really see how we can use technology to not be distracted, but actually be able to make a difference. So I'd like you to sit with me for 1 minute today. And in the spirit of Ubuntu, to just be with me, just for 1 minute. And breathe. And you might imagine me or think of someone else. I'm just kind of the guy in the grocery store, or the bus driver, or someone at work. Who knows, maybe your father or someone. But whatever comes up, can you just allow whatever arises and love that by just being with me right now? And I want to invite you, as you go through the day today, to actually stop and be with people. Notice what happens in your body, with your breath. Can you actually just be present with someone and allow whatever arises to arise? Whatever doesn't arise, any thoughts, sensations. Because you can't struggle and be in overwhelm when you're present with someone, number one. Number two is your presence connects with the whole community. Each person we're able to just be with allows us to expand consciousness of the entire community and ripples out into the world. If there's anything the world needs right now, is us being present and connected and recognizing that connection. So I hope to see you tonight or tomorrow morning on the call. We're expecting a great turnout for that. And we'll continue this experiment on Monday morning. Thanks so much for checking in. Remember, it's you that makes the difference. Many blessings.